Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today I think we're going to do a few more things on the F7 there. If you've been following the channel, you'd see the last video there where we rocked that 2003 F7 against our buddy Scooter's XC700. And yeah, they're both beasts. You know, this one runs good and all that. Tons of power, just dangles the skis. You know, Scooter's rock's pretty good. She's a dangler too, but Scooter's got that Redneck's Dirty Hands wrap on his. You know, looks awesome, works awesome. This one works awesome, but it's kind of lacking in the look. So like we're going to update that thanks to our buddy Nick and Nick Dart Designs. And then been trail riding this thing. Went out on the weekend there with a bunch of fellas and the missus there. And trail riding was great, but this thing darts like crazy. It's got the single runners on her, and I mean, this thing doesn't just dart, it changes time zones, you know, like it's one side to the other, just pew, 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 pew. Like a dog following a squirrel. You know, it's not just the fact that it has the single runners or carbides on the skis there that makes this thing dart all over the place. I mean, we got multiple issues here. Like, here's the steering head. Like, that's got quite a bit of play in there. There's the tie rods. Like, look at the movement there. Ho, ho! That's a little too much clearance, Clarence. Now, a good portion of the play in this thing is these tie rods. I mean, they are pretty sloppy. The front end on this thing is sloppier than... Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do some scrounging around, see if I've got any parts kicking around. I need inner and outer tie rod ends, and I need the runners. If I don't have the used stuff kicking around or new stuff, because I do have a pile of miscellaneous new old stock parts for Arctic Cats, so I'll dig through there, see if I can find some tie rod ends, but if not, I'll give Cat Shack a call and see if they got some runners and some tie rods, maybe a steering head bushing, all that jazz, and we'll get that tight like a toiga. Tight like we like it. Normally that loose front end wouldn't even bother because she dangles. Those skis are hardly ever really on the ground, but drag racing's one thing. Trail riding, it's like, that's a workout riding that thing, so we definitely got to get it handling better. I mean, it does look good, you know, it does have we got a she dangle sticker on there, which, you know, kind of adds to it, but I want it a little more personal to the Redneck's Dirty Hands brand, so yeah, we're going to take a look around this thing, and then we're going to peel all those stickers off and put our own on there. I know she's a good looking rig already, but I promise it's gonna look even better. Nick did a design there that I think kind of complements the original design, but puts, you know, our little touch in there too. So let's get going at this one. Well, just like being at the beauty salon after a bit of heat and pulling the wax strips, we got ourselves a bald kitty. It's looking a little naked, and I can tell because I can see it dangling. I know it's looking pretty plain Jane now. You know, it is bare naked, but we're going to change that. Hopefully these are going to make that pop. Got the Redneck's Dirty Hands on there. We still got the F7, our logo on it, and it's kind of, you know, stock color code kind of things for some of these models. Now, I'm trying to fit and do the ones on the tunnel there. It's a bit of a pain in the butt because that comes just printed as a straight sheet, kind of like this here. Nick just prints out gives me a lot of material, so if I need to cut it and do whatever for different panels, I can. I've got extra material, like I could use this for the windshield if I wanted. So that's how those tunnel pieces came. they came just as a rectangle strip there, but unfortunately, you know, these F7s and whatnot on the sideboards here, they've got that bracket, which is a pain in the butt to try and put a sticker on. So I'm sitting here, it's a little tedious, cutting the stickers out with the razor blades and whatnot, and I gotta fit it, so, you know, if I tried to just stick it on there and push it in, it would be all wrinkled and bubbled and whatnot, so a little bit of time spent now, I think is gonna turn out a way better result. Taking my time. This kind of work doing the custom sticker stuff, cutting them, trimming them, making them all fit, can be pretty tedious, but I mean, hey, we're in no rush, you know, we can always take a break. That took a little bit of time. You know, it was a bit of a tedious job, bit of a pain in the butt cutting all those stickers, especially for the tunnel there, but it's worth it, man. You know, I think I should have talked to Nick and changed it from the F7 to the FNA because I think it looks FNA. No doubt about it now. She's a nice one. Let's grab a roadie and take a tour around this sweetie. I don't know about yous, but I think this thing turned out sweet. I love how he's got the F7 looking original. I mean, we stuck the original one on the fridge there, but you can see it is quite similar, and I love the Redneck Sturdy hands on the hood and also down on the tunnel. You can see it kind of lines up. It's a bit of a pain in the butt to cut all those out there, but, you know, at least you can read her. She looks good. Got the skull on the back. It kind of flows with the... because the seat already has the green, the yellow, and the red. That's why I kind of went with this color scheme there. And then painted up the A-arms there, freshened them up with a splash of black. You know, we got our logo in the wrap here on the front. And, of course, the sheet angles on the windshield. For the most part, it all went pretty good. I got all the stickers on nice and smooth, except for this main center one here with our logo in it. You know, it's a compound curve panel. It's kind of hard to lay it down without getting some wrinkles and bubbles, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. We can live with those bubbles for now. If you squint, it's meant. It sucks that we got some bubbles and some wrinkles in there, but it's like meeting somebody with a third nipple. I mean, if you look hard enough, sure, you could see it, but we'll just ignore it, you know, and grab a cold one, carry on with our lives. Perfect timing. Cat Shack just called me. All the tie rods are in. They got a set of dually carbides there for me, and still waiting on the mount block for the upper handlebars, but I think swapping out those tie rods will be the first thing we got to do anyway, and then we'll set the alignment on it, make sure everything's pointing the direction it needs to be, and then we'll take her for a dangle. Now that it's looking fine, let's see if we can get it handling in a straight line, you know. So I went down to the local Cat Shack there and picked up a set of dualies. You know, I've run these in the past on the old T-Cat and everything. They seem to help it quite a bit for the darting, so we'll throw them on, and we got our new tie rod ends. So let's straighten the front end of this thing out. First things first, we're going to pop the tie rod section off. So there's just a 5/16 Allen head bolt there. We'll undo that one, and then we'll get the one all the way on the inside. We'll pull this whole bar out. We'll get those swapped out and do both sides, and then we'll set and check the toe. So to get it out, like I said, going to be using a 5/16 hex, but I'm using a set I got off the Mack truck there. These are what they call advanced hex or whatever. And if you look, you can see they're spiral, fluted kind of things. These are supposed to work on like mostly rounded fasteners. So these are all I use now because they bite so good. You never slip. You don't end up rounding them out or anything. And these things are in there pretty tight because I think they're Loctited in there too. So I find they work way better than just the regular Allen keys. So check them out. Local tool truck. Snap-on has them too, I believe. We got our new inner threaded in there. We got our new outer threaded there. That's a right-hand thread. That one's a left-hand thread. So once we get them bolted back in, we can just thread this aluminum rod to set our toe, and then we'll do that after. I'll throw those dually carbides in, then we'll set the toe and should be ready to go. Nice, tight and right. Okay, now. Yeah, there we go. Then we should be able to just adjust that for our toe and be good to go. Now let's peel these runners off of here. Nice one. So we got her jacked up in the air, so we'll just hammer these fellas out. Come on. Just like so. That's what was on there, just the single runner. Fairly aggressive, but look at that. That'd be contributing to why she darts too. She's bent. Look at that, wow. Wow. So yeah, we are gonna ditch this bent sucker and replace it with these dualies. Now, the carbides in these dualies aren't quite as long, that's what she said, but they should help dramatically. You know, this thing had a lot of issues going on. You know, the alignment was out, the runners are bent, tie rods are loose. This thing, you know, when the skis are actually on the ground, is gonna handle now. Put that piece of cardboard right under there, and then I'll let the weight back down on it. And then we'll just give her a couple of taps. Beauty. We can get all these nuts started. And then we just got to crank them tight. Drive them, MacGyver. Looking pretty good. One more for good measure. Perfecto. Now that we got those new tie rods in there, that kitty is nice and tight. It's like she's been doing her kegels. The skis, however, look like a botched boob job. We got one over here and one over there. You know, we might have to play with them and tweak them back into alignment. Those skis are looking like crazy eyes for Mr. Deeds. So to get them straight, you know, we don't really want them dead straight. I think you want like a 1/8 toe out on the skis, but we got to be able to dial it in. So I've got a bunch of those long tubes of aluminum. That stuff is nice and straight. So what I'll do is lay it down on the ground alongside the track and then let them stick out the front. We'll measure off of that to center up the skis, get them even, and then we'll adjust the toe from there. So I'll just lay that aluminum square tube right along the edge of the track. It's nice and even all the way. And it sticks out far enough, you know, poking all the way out past the skis. And I mean, you can see how far out that is. So at least this way we can measure from the back of the ski, front of the ski, or, you know, it might be better to go from that the ski mount or the studs for the runners. That way you're kind of getting the dead center line of the ski. And we'll zero it out so it's running parallel with that. We'll zero this one out so it's running parallel with that, and then we can adjust our toe from there. All we got to do is I'm going to hook to the inside of that tube, measure to the furthest stud at the back on the runner, And then I'll measure the same thing to the farthest one out here. Like right now, we got 15 3/4 to the front and 14 at the back. So yeah, we got to toe that way in. So we should be able to just turn this fella and you'll see that ski straighten out. 14 3/4 on the nose. And 14 and just over a half. I think that, we're gonna leave that right there. All right, we got that side kind of dialed in. So now this side, we'll do the same thing. Just hook onto the tube there. What do we got? 29 1/4. And then 30 1/2. Yeah, this one's out to lunch. All right, so we're just over 29 1/2 on the back, and we are just about, not quite 29 3/4. So that's, you know, that's got ourselves a little bit of toe out. I think we're golden. Now we just gotta lock up these jam nuts inside and outside. Just hold the tie rod part still. Remember, they're opposite threads, you know, the outer one's just a regular right hand thread, this inner one's a left hand thread, so you got to spin it the opposite way to tighten her up. But lock them all in, lock in the other side, and we're good to go. The alignment is mint now, so I think we're just about ready to take her out for a dangle. But I just wanted to say thanks. You know, the feedback and support from all the fans, everybody that's watching the videos and stuff has been amazing, you know. A lot of you is from the first video there telling me, you know, I had no idea how to turn the freaking high beams, low beams on, and who knew? You just push that forward. Like, I would have never figured that out. Those engineers at Cat, that's my coolest feature on it. Well, second coolest feature. Another one he has told me, you know, just in case nobody knew, underneath the nut saver there, if you peel that up, the toolkit's hiding up under here. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, those engineers at Arctic, they're sneaky fellas, but I mean, we all know they're sneaky. They built a 700cc snowmobile that'll just roast 800, so I like where they're going. So you know they like to party. And another fella commented and said, you know, they got those limiter blocks in the back there, stopping the suspension from going back. So if we 86 those, we'll get more dangle effect. So I think before we go for a rip, I might pull the limiter straps out, put an extra hole in it so we get a little more slack in there, and then I'm not going to take those right out, but I'm going to make a second position for them, you know, so we can move them back so we get a little more dangle. So I mean, pretty straightforward on these back ones. Again, it's just a 5/16 Allen key there. This thing, there's a captured nut on the inside, so just put my little bit of weight on there just to block that mount, and crack this sucker loose. Oh yeah, just like so. So like you can see, it's just got a captured nut in there. What we really have to do is we can drill another hole down around here, so it'll push that block further in. It's not gonna get into the wheel or nothing, you know, and then it'll just stop a little bit further back so we get a little more angle of the dangle. All right, so now with that removed, I just set my calipers to 1 inch. I'm just gonna go from the one edge of the hole there, scribe a mark on the rail. We got a little mark here. Take a good little straight edge. This is just a feeler gauge set I got. Go from center of the hole to center of this bolt. That way we have a good reference. So it's the same side for side. Grab that. That's where we're gonna pop that hole. So we just popped the 3/8 hole there so it'll fit the bolt. Now moving it back is gonna allow this to go more. Like, these original blocks do have positions. You got 1, which is the thickness of the block from the center of the hole, and then you got 2 and 3. So you could sit there and turn these around and it changes how far that's allowed to go. We've just changed it a little more than this will let you go. Wrong hole. Just like messing around with this. I just put it in the wrong hole. Just like so. Tickety-boo. now that we're squishing it. It's not even coming close to there. Oh, she's gonna dangle. I'm gonna take those limiter straps out. Now, I'm not gonna take them right out. I'm gonna pop an extra hole in so it slacks them off a little bit. So we still have them there for, you know, I still want to trail ride and stuff like that, but I want just a little more dangle, like popping at a Viagra. I just want it to dangle a little longer. I mean, it's fairly simple to get these out. You know, they just have these 1/4 inch bolts with the, looks like the stud backers or whatever was pinching them tight there. So 7/16 wrench and ratchet to get them off, and then the top, it actually does have 3 different positions you can go. It was in the middle, but you know, as everything, we want to stretch it and get as much as we can. So I'm gonna pop another hole out here. I've got, you know, I bought this hole punch kit a while ago. You know, it comes in handy for making gaskets and all that stuff. So we'll stretch her out. We'll pop another hole up closer to the end, and then on the bottom, you know, it was clamped together like that. So I think I'll pop another hole closer to the edge here so we can slide that down to meet up. So we're getting a little bit extra. There we go. Got a new hole there. Dangle mode is about to be engaged. All right, the limiter straps are all back in. That thing is in full dangle mode, so we'll take it for a test ride. And those new carbides are pretty aggressive, because those marks there, that's just from a little bit of wiggling when I was sitting on it there. So they're carving right into the concrete. So hopefully they'll carve and keep this thing going straight. You know, in the last few videos, the GoPro footage, you could kind of tell this thing was all over the place. A handful to handle, that's for sure. So I think I'll strap the brain bucket on with the GoPro, take a rip down the test track out back, down the trail, take her over to McLean skis and see how high those ski tips go. Well, to say that I'm happy with these upgrades on this thing is a huge understatement, man. I love the look of this thing now, and this thing handles phenomenal. Before, you know, ripping down that trail out back, this thing was twitching like it had Tourette's, and now, straight as an arrow, smooth as silk, you know, I could fly through that trail. I don't know if you can tell in that footage, but I was moving, and before, there's no way I could do that without wearing a tree. So yeah, putting those dually carbides on there and the new tie rods definitely tightened that up and made it right. Still waiting on that steering block, but it's not in yet, and you know what? Time goes on, I wanted to get this done, and she handles mint. And I mean, with those little dangle modifications, those skis get higher than Snoop Dogg now. As always, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode. You know, we made a few improvements to the machine, you know, look-wise and handling-wise. I think it looks awesome. You know, let me know what you guys think. And, you know, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. We enjoy making these videos. We're having a lot of fun doing it. You guys are super supportive and helpful in the comment section, leaving us tips and tricks. You know, I had no idea that toolkit was in there, and I had no idea the brake lever was the light switch. Who knew? You knew. That's who. So cheers. Thanks. You know, that's what it's all about. We're all like-minded individuals. We're just here having a good time while we're here on this spinning rock, you know. So, you know, thanks to everybody helping out. And like even Jeremy Rides fella, he's got his own YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. You know, he does snowmobile content, having fun, doing similar things like we do. And he reached out to me the other day there, sent me a message, you know, just saying he loves the channel and showing us some support. So, you know what? That's awesome. You know, we need more people like that. Keep these sleds going, providing content for all of you. Yous are the ones that are watching and supporting the channels. So you know what? Good people, good times. Cheers. Take her easy.